Good afternoon. My name is Ben, and I want to talk to you about futures trading. Okay, so I'm a full-time futures day trader, and I launched this YouTube channel really to use as my own trading log, but also to kind of share a peek into my world of day trading futures that I do full-time. So, this is going to be hopefully interesting and educational for people out there, I think, who are interested in this. So anyway, why futures and not stocks or options? So I'm not going to go super heavily into the details, okay, what futures are. You can find that on Google. This is kind of a short version. So futures are derivatives of macro instruments. And that means such as stock indices like the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, etc. Currencies, euro, yen, Aussie dollar, for example, and also commodities, crude oil, gold, silver, copper, etc. Now, so we can have, the other thing here is that futures contracts allows us to have huge leverage. It's pretty much the only instrument in that trades in the US that allows us this type of leverage. And 20 times leverage is pretty standard. And you look, and then during intraday session is often like 10 times that. So you can swing a huge bet with a small account. They are super liquid. They also trade 23 hours a day. But really, the vast majority of moves happen during the stock market hours, especially in the first couple hours. And so the entry level cost to trade futures is actually very low. So people are scared of futures because they think it's only for huge accounts, and it used to be that back in the day. But now you have something called the micro contracts, which are even smaller than the regular ones, and you only need about $100 in margin intraday, depending on your broker, to trade those. So you really don't need a huge account to trade futures to just kind of get into it. And the other thing is there are huge tax benefits. So when you day trade futures, or really not even day trade, just trade futures, period, only 40% of the capital gains are taxed short term, even though technically if this was a stock or an ETF or an option, it will be all short term. So this is only 40% tax short term capital gains, and 60% is taxed as long-term capital gains. So effectively, it just lowers your overall capital gains tax by a huge margin. And it's also actually a lot simpler to deal with when it comes to taxes. Now, the huge drawback, and where people get burnt, is that this leverage that you're moving around, you can lose money very fast as well, which is why risk management is really key to success. And that is it's a huge deal that we go through. But and so how do we actually make money? Trading futures, like what are the dynamics of how things move? So I'm not gonna like go too much into all the theory. Okay, there's enough stuff out there about that. So I'm gonna look at some examples. I'm a big believer of kind of sharing what I do and transparency. So let me share my screen here real quick. Okay, so this is a screen of the March NASDAQ futures. This segment was from yesterday, where there was a big move up, and I'm gonna walk you guys through it. Right, so this was on February 1st. When I'm recording this, is February 2nd, and yesterday there was a FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve meeting. It tends to be a market moving event. Okay, so they've been raising rates by a lot, and then this time they raised by a quarter point, which was totally expected, but they also indicated that they kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they don't need to be as heavy on the gas, okay, with interest rate hikes, which is good for tech stocks. So at 11:50 Pacific, I'm in California, so this is Pacific time, I bought one NASDAQ contract. So these contracts expire on a quarterly basis. Okay, so this is now the March contract. So you can see it here, this little green dot. So I bought this contract at 12,298 3/4. If I click on it, you'll see the bottom there's a trade. That trade required $1,738 in margin by TradeStation. Okay, that's my broker. And the other brokers too, okay, that are good, that have low margin. And I held this trade pretty much throughout the day. Again, I sold it at up here at 12,532.5. So each of these contracts have a certain dollar value. Okay, it's a big point value is called. That's how much one point is worth, really. So for NASDAQ, it's $20. So 1 point for the NQ or NASDAQ is $20. So this turned out to be an entry of 12,532.5. Okay, and then I'm sorry, the exit was 12,532.5, and an entry was 12,298 3/4. And that's a 233.75 point move. So it's a 20 times multiplier. Okay, so that's $4,675. And that all happened the last 2 hours of trading yesterday. And they're only tied up less than $2,000 in margin. Now, obviously, it doesn't always work out as well. And a lot of times, you end up losing also. And learning how to lose is actually a huge challenge that is not really talked about, but there's definitely an element of that also. So if this move reversed, I would have gotten stopped out with a small loss or a smaller profit. Okay, so you always have to have stops in play that gets triggered if your trade is not working out. So another trade I did. So this is the NASDAQ. Another trade I did today, actually, today is February 1st, was crude oil. Hold on, those coordinates. All right, so this is crude oil expiring in March. So I ended up selling actually 2 contracts of crude oil in the morning, okay, at 6:50 Pacific. And 1 point in crude is worth $1,000, and I sold 2. All right, the price that I sold it at was 75. Was here, okay, at 75.91. So shorting and selling is the same thing. Shorting just means that you sell it before you buy it. Anyway, this ended up being a trade where I bought 1 contract back here. They had 75.39. So the profit from on this one trade that lasted 10 minutes was 75.91 where I sold it, minus the 75.39 where I bought it back. That's 52 cents times 1,000, which is the multiplier, is $520 in 10 minutes. So that left me with 1 more contract, which at this point crude had to bounce back, rallied back higher, and I ended up buying that back at 75.74 for a small profit on that one at $170. So if you add those 2 up, then the total for this trade ended up being $690 actually, and it didn't last very long. And I also did another trade today. I don't trade a lot. I'll do like a few trades per day typically. It's because I day trade doesn't mean I trade all the time. Anyway, I got short 2 Dow Jones contracts right on the open. Okay, so and the Dow Jones has a 5 point dollar value per move. So I sold this to at 34.104, where this red dot is here. Okay, and I bought them back about 10 minutes later. The average was 33.938.5. Okay, it was down here. And with a $5 point move, or dollar point move, this works out to 165.5 points times the 2 lots that I was short times the 5 multiplier. Okay, so that's $1,655 in about 10 minutes. And here are my trades over the last 2 days. I'm not going to go through all of them, but this is kind of what it looks like. So, pretty decent couple of days. So obviously it's not always like this. You know, we have losing trades also, and you're not gonna know how to do this until you understand how markets work. So this is kind of the basics of the dynamics of how to make money in the, you know, in futures trading. The big question then obviously is, you know, how do you decide when to buy and to sell? Right, and there are tons of variables that impact market swings within one day. And it's going to take you a long, you know, take your time to figure this out, like, you know, what makes things move, right? But the biggest factor moving the markets in a short period of time is crowd behavior. Okay, it's how people react to certain news and events. That is the biggest mover within a 1 day time frame, and this can actually be measured on a quantitative level. And I have certain analytical tools that are proprietary to me that I use that I'll start sharing with you guys. But that's really a subject for for another day. So I obviously trade full time, but I also teach people how to make money trading futures like this. So if anybody is interested in that, you can hit me up, and I'm going to leave the contact info in the description of this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you find this stuff interesting. And I plan to just pump out new videos on a pretty regular basis here. So yeah, that's how that's how I operate. That's like my typical day. So we will see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so more opportunities, more money to be made, hopefully. So until next time.